Fick's law is an equation that links the rate of diffusion to the surface area, concentration difference, and membrane thickness of a cell, where Fick's law states that the rate of diffusion is proportional to the surface area times the concentration difference divided by the membrane thickness of the cell. We're now going to look at how the surface area correlates to the rate of diffusion. This is a root hair cell with a low surface area, and I'm now drawing a root hair cell with a larger surface area. So if we increase the surface area, like what I've done here, you're going to increase the rate of diffusion of molecules in or out of the cell. This is because there is an increased number of diffusion points into the cell. So there are more points on the cell where molecules can diffuse in or out of the cell. This is because there is an increased number of diffusion points into the cell. So surface area is directly proportional to the rate of diffusion. Let's have a look at concentration difference. In the first example here, there's going to be a lower difference in the concentration between the left and right side of the partially permeable membrane. Whereas in this example, there is a larger concentration difference between the left and right side of the membrane. Where there is a lower concentration difference, the rate of diffusion is slower compared to where there is a higher concentration difference where the rate of diffusion is going to be faster. So if you increase the concentration difference between each side of a cell, you increase the rate of diffusion according to Fick's law. Let's look at how membrane thickness affects the rate of diffusion. I'm now drawing two cells. This cell with a thin cell membrane and this other cell with a thicker cell membrane. So this cell here has a shorter diffusion pathway because the cell membrane is not as thick, whereas the second cell with the thicker membrane has a longer diffusion pathway. So the thicker the membrane, the longer it's going to take the molecules to diffuse across it. So if we increase the membrane thickness of a cell, you're going to decrease the rate of diffusion. This means that the membrane thickness is inversely proportional to the rate of diffusion, because if you increase the membrane thickness in the equation as shown here, that means you're going to decrease the rate of diffusion according to Fick's law. So the rate of diffusion is proportional to 1 over the membrane thickness because the rate of diffusion is inversely proportional to membrane thickness.